Hey, what's up? Um, yeah, I didn't really script this out at all. I borrowed this album from my friend and I've been listening to it a while ago and I thought that it's a really interesting album, so I thought that maybe I could make a somewhat interesting review on it. And the album is Lift Your Skinny Fist Like in Tennis to Heaven by Godspeed You, Black Emperor. If you're not familiar with the album or the band, I mentioned them briefly in my last video. They're a post-rock band from Canada, I believe. They kind of, I don't really know much about like the history of the genre, but I do know that they were pretty early. They were there pretty early. They're probably the most known post-rock band, one of definitely, and one of the most liked too. Cause from what I've heard, like I said in my past video, I haven't heard a lot of entire post-rock albums, but I've heard lots of different songs, and these guys are probably one of the best out there. They're very, very unique and very, very, bombastic and very just really, really out there, and I love that kind of stuff. So, now this album specifically, it is probably the longest album I've ever heard. It's just really just damn near an hour and a half long. It's like 87 minutes, I think, or something. It's four songs technically, and I'll get into more of what I mean by technically in a little bit. And it takes up two discs, two songs in each disc. And there's no lyrics. It's all or no vocals. It's all instrumental. So with that being said, it's a very big album. It's very I don't know, for lack of a better word, pretentious, for people who like to throw that word around. And there's a lot going on, and it's really really good. What I meant by technically it's four songs was I find it, I mean for me anyway, you enjoy this album and you enjoy albums like this, like really long albums, more if you don't really think of each like part of the album as like a song or a part, as you just kind of think of it as one long flowing piece, you know, it it's hard to exactly explain why, but it's just I don't know, it's just better that way. Like when I have this album playing, I don't really look at the like whatever you're playing it on, the time, you know, like or a clock, or you know, I don't like seeing the time pass of the album. I just like hearing it just go, you know. It's you get more fulfillment out of the music that way. And because if you think about it, I mean, technically they're all like over 20 minutes long, and it's just like it just looks really weird. Like when you, like, oh yeah, this is that 20-minute song. Like it's more like a big symphony or something. You know, it's like it's not supposed. I don't think you're really it's supposed to be separated like that. Like, and yeah, all of the songs have names technically. They're in the liner notes, written in a kind of a weird way, but like I don't like throwing around these songs like that. Like, what's your favorite Godspeed You song? Oh, Storm, which is the name of the first song on this album. Yeah, I don't know. They're just too big and too, yeah. Another thing I've found about them after listening to this album a number of times is like all of the like the musicianship is there and kind of the ideas like musically are there, but to really not only to do what I just said, depending on the person, but to really get all of your enjoyment out of this music is to put that one other thing in there, and that one other thing like added to the music that you hear can be anything. It can be what you interpret the music to be about. And look, I mentioned that there was no vocals, but they do use samples of people talking. Like on one song, there's a monologue of of a guy talking about the good old days of Coney Island, and then there's one of this kind of preacher guy going on and on about God and stuff. So you can have your interpretations of what those are there for and what they mean. And you can just kind of use it as, I don't like saying the term background music because I don't think that gives the music enough credit, but I do kind of mean that. Like, it's the music playing in the background behind your thoughts. And it's really, really good for that because they repeat so much stuff so many times that it's like no matter how many times you listen to it, I mean, unless you just listen to it 24/7, you're not going to remember how many times they played a certain riff. It's like it all just flows as this one stream of consciousness. It's really crazy, you know, and like I don't really remember what song each of the parts I remember really liking are from. I just remember that I like them, you know. That's why I like thinking of it as one big thing better, you know, because it's just one giant stream of this, you know, like everything is just this big epic crescendo or this like it'll be just this 10-minute passage of just silence besides some noises or some really, really quiet guitar just going dun dun dun, dun and just stuff, and it's just like, you know what I mean? It's hard to put into words. I hope I'm kind of getting it across. Hang on a sec. Alright. I still haven't explained at all exactly what the music sounds like. And they use a variety of instruments. On the first song, which is easy to remember because it's the very first thing you hear when you put in the album, they use a lot of, it's a very jubilant, very epic sounding intro. It's a fucking great intro. It's got all sorts of strings, all sorts of violins, stuff going on, and yeah, it's epic, and it's kind of a big build up, and then I don't know, you can there's really, really beautiful parts and really just epic parts, and but it's not like stereotypical post rock where it's all built of like, here's the build up, climax, fall down, or whatever you want to call it, build up, build up, build up. Even when it's an hour and a half long, there's still times where it'll just be like a quiet thing, and there'll be no build up, and then just bam, you'll be in a climax or a big loud epic part, you know. It doesn't really follow any formula but its own, you know. It's really, really, it's cool. It's not like anything else out there besides other Godspeed, or who knows. I actually haven't heard any other Godspeed album in its entirety, so I wouldn't really know that for sure. But yeah, it's one really experience that's unlike anything. I definitely recommend you taking the time to listen to all of it, and really do it. Try not to look at the times or whatever, or really pay attention to the track even changing. And if you have a disc changer, make sure you just put them in the right order right after each other. If you don't have a changer, you're gonna have to put the second disc in once the first one's over. But yeah, just it's one big thing. If you're not paying attention, you don't even notice, you know, the track's changing anyway. Yeah. What are some other examples of, you know, like the actual music that I liked? I don't know. I can't remember anything specifically, you know, but I don't think you're really supposed to, you know. Yeah. It's hard to put specific words on. Thanks for watching. If you've heard the album, tell me your thoughts on it. Tell me how you would explain how much you like it or dislike it. I'd like to hear it. Thanks for watching.